Hi, everyone, and welcome to another podcast of The Real CD Show. My name is Chamberlain Burke.
And I'm Devlin Burke.
And today we'd like to talk to you about a wonderful film that we saw last week, which was the filming of the last final end of the road Motley Crue concert. Yes, Motley Crue has broken up. Disbanded, I guess, is a better word. Devlin, can you take just a couple of minutes and tell us what Motley Crue, the band, and their music has meant to you?
Okay. Motley Crue was my first hard rock concert in my existence. And it was funny because I had listened to music on back when television ran music when they were good. I remember going, oh, that they're a very interesting band, and then seeing them live, it hit me how great they were. And I remember after that show, I started a concert journal, and they're one of the first concerts in there. I have the set list, and I do the set list as a playlist, and whenever the date shows up, I replay the concert.
Oh, that's an interesting way to do it.
Yeah. So this was my first rock concert. There was no opening act. 2.5 to almost 3 hours of Motley Crue music. And all I knew about them was the greatest hit. So I was like, my biggest fear was a hardcore Motley Crue fan was going to beat me up for not knowing all the words. But thankfully, no one did. It was a great show. I have some great memories from that show. It's a little bittersweet to see it end, but I understand why it's ending.
What do you feel about the group disbanding? And how do you feel about being able to see their final concert in person but on film?
Well, the thing about them disbanding is that if you read any interview about why they're doing their final tour, they've made the right points. We're no longer writing new music. We're all still alive. All the original members are still alive. We're at the top of our game vocally, musically. It's a good time for us to put it to bed.
And I think the thing that I liked based on the interviews that were in the movie is they're doing it on their own terms. Like you said, they're at the top of their game. People still want to see them, and it was bittersweet. I'd like to take a minute, if it's okay, to... Oh, you didn't tell us about what it was like to see it on film.
Yeah. To see it on film was surreal. I did get a little misty during the last song, Home Sweet Home, because there's that line, take me to your heart, feel me in your bones. It's like, these songs are now yours. It's now your memories. It's now yours. We're trusting you, the fans, to carry the torch, because we're done. We've got other projects we want to do. There's other things we want to do. So for me, it was a little bittersweet, but still exciting. They've always put on a good live show. I've seen them live about 4 to 5 times. And it's always fun. I make friends at Motley Crue shows, some of which I've never seen again. But for that one night, we've had that connection where we're all friends, and that to me is what I think is really cool. Now I want to turn this to you now. You, as we've stated in previous podcasts, are relatively new to the rock and roll community, and I think documenting that is very interesting. So I wanted to get your perspective on Motley Crue, because if you count this concert as a second concert, this has been your second time seeing them.
Yes, I went and saw them 3 years ago, 4 years ago, roughly 3 or 4 years ago when they were touring with Kiss. And despite some weather problems when we saw them, and I really, I'm kind of going into some of this rock and roll kind of blindsided and open-minded. I didn't know a lot about them, but I wanted to experience them much similarly to the way we talked about the Scorpions in a previous cast. But you're absolutely right. Musically, visually, creatively, the band is wonderful. They put on a good show. They know what they're doing. They know their fans. Their fans appreciate what they're doing. I love the things that Tommy Lee does. And so the first time I saw them, I was really very grateful, and I was really very appreciative of what they did for the fans, musically, visually, creatively, and I had a really good time. And in all honesty, I was really disappointed when I heard that they were disbanding. Let's use the word disbanding. Breaking up is more like Captain Tennille. But anyway, and they did break up. And so, anyway, so now going to see this, I have to tell you, this was an incredibly unique experience. And what I liked about it was on film, so it was pristine. There were no interruptions. There was nothing going on. The film itself is wonderful. I think it's very well directed. I think it's very well documented. I think it's very well done. There's an excellent amount of the concert interspersed with interviews and reflections and observations by the band members and crew members and fans. And you can see the fans are so emotional that they can't believe this is the last concert. And what did you think about the film?
I thought the film was very well put together. One of the things you and I commented on was there was a good balance of songs and interview. It wasn't song, interview, song, interview. It was like 2 to 3 songs and then interview. And it was a very good balance of those elements, which I really appreciated, because sometimes when you do those concert documentary things, there's a tendency to really mess that up with the interview. A lot of people don't seem to know how to do that, but with this, it was perfectly placed.
And one of the things that I liked was they talked to the roadie, they talked to managers, they talked to fans, but what they said was not, it was relevant. It was relevant material that made a lot of sense, and you knew that it was uplifting because you were seeing Motley Crue, but it was bittersweet because they were gone. So let's talk about what it's like to see this concert on film. So it was filmed very well, and what I liked about seeing the concert on film, it played in a regular movie theater, and so the theater was pretty full. It was pretty full. There were a lot of people there. A lot of people wanted to see this, but they were very respectful. They were very quiet. Not that concert goers aren't, but it was a different experience, because you really felt you were watching a concert, but you're sitting in a good seat that you didn't have to pay an arm and a leg for. There was a concession stand. It really felt like we were watching a real concert in a very small and intimate venue. Didn't you feel that?
I felt that too. And another thing I want to point out about the film that I also appreciated very, very much was I loved that there were close-ups of the musicians performing. There was a close-up of Mick Mars soloing. There was a close-up of Nikki Sixx's bass playing. Because I think a lot of times this band gets caught up in, like you were saying, when you first went and saw them with Kiss, you were talking about, all I know about Tommy Lee is his sex tape with Pamela Anderson. But you were sitting there and you watched him do his drumming visual, and you went, he's a really good drummer.
Exactly.
And that's what I loved, was that there were close-ups of this. So not only are they a good band, but you also got to see the quality of their musicianship by that.
And they really do perform for the fans. This is not about them. So, let's just wrap up real quickly here. So, if you get a chance to go see Motley Crue's final tour, please do. If you're, want to know more about Motley Crue, or you're a Crue fan, go and see it. I found the experience of seeing the concert in a theater to be very satisfying and rewarding, and I would do it again. And I hope that more bands do this, because it's a great way to see people in concert that you wouldn't be able to otherwise. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And again, especially with it being summer, you're in an air-conditioned theater.
Absolutely.
So that's always good. And Nikki Sixx has posted on his Twitter that there is going to be a DVD release of this.
Oh, good.
But they're still trying to figure out how it works. But they're still trying to figure out how to do it, and how to do it properly for fans and get everything going.
So watch for it in your stores or online, or however you can get it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good one. See you on the next podcast.
Bye.